Hello, everybody. This is Nik and Adinah Johnson. Hope you are doing well. How are you, honey?
I am doing great.
Are outstanding. Well, today we're going to discuss uh, young ones, offspring, dependents,
Kids.
kids. Yes, um, we're going to discuss them in that. As I kind of think about, my journey from childhood to being a young man to where I am now, which ain't a young man no more. I think back on kind of my journey. And I remember one of the kind of big things that happened in my life was, hey, when you become 18, or in my case, 17, you leave home.
Right.
And so I kind of always had that mindset that when our kids, and I would say I'm a bit biased here. I say our kids, but primarily our boys. Yeah. I've always kind of said when it comes to our daughter, she ain't never got to leave. She don't want to. But when it comes to our boys, that when they get of age 17, 18, that they got to go. So I kind of paused there, and I have communicated that thought to you in the past.
You have.
And so I think kind of as I've matured a little more, I think we all should mature, right?
Right.
At some point. That I've matured a little more, that I don't necessarily have those same thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah. So my thoughts now would be, okay, what is the benefit of when our kids graduate high school or whatever, become 17, 18, whatever, of them getting out?
Yeah, what is the benefit of that?
And I thought, and where I was, I thought that, okay, it's time for you to stand up on your own 2 feet. I left the house at 17. Everything panned out for me. You do the same thing, right? But I don't think that should be the case now.
No.
Right? And I've kind of changed over it. So first of all, what is your thoughts, I guess, around, and I'll share a little bit more about it, but as far as, I shared you my initial thoughts about, getting out of here when you're old enough to get going.
Do you recall my thoughts back then when you were thinking? I think I was at the same mindset.
Yeah, I don't remember you. I don't remember you put up a whole lot of fight about it.
No.
So,
I guess as I've grown as well, and I guess because I got out of my mom's house when I was like barely 18 because I went off to college, and I really never came. I never really came back until I moved, like 7 years later when I moved back to our hometown and I met you. And then we quickly, I say quickly, 3 years. Quickly. Quick.
A whirlwind.
Yeah, I say quickly, but it was 3 years. So it's not very
some
quick.
People don't, some people don't stay in a relationship that long. So
right.
30 years, yeah.
So I think at that point, I got an apartment. You had your own apartment, and then we eventually bought our house, got married, and so on and so forth. So, I guess I was of the mindset that they should move out as well, but I don't know if I agree with that anymore because I think we were a different set of kids. I think our whole thing was we saw our parents struggle, so therefore to not continue to be a burden or to not to be a burden, our agreement was to, hey, let's get out and get on our own as quickly as possible. Because I know for me, I was told that, hey, you're a lot to deal with and it's expensive. But I see other cultures and I see where they take care of their children much longer than we do. Case in point, we live in a very rural area and we just saw an older gentleman, purchase his daughter land. And he purchased her a house to put on the land, and she has to at least be 35. And she is yet to move into that house, mind you. Yeah. But my question was, so if we're in a position to help our children, why not assist them? And why feel it is a need for them to get out so soon? I know for us, we were, very young. We would not babysit ourselves, but we was home alone. We didn't have where at age 15, we could finally stay home alone. We just had to maintain and take care of ourselves. The kids in the family. I mean, I had older brothers, so that wasn't so horrible for them to be responsible enough. But I think kids nowadays are not as responsible as we have had to be in our past. What do you think?
I just don't think they have to be.
Right.
And it kind of goes back, a lot of times I've heard people say, and I completely disagree, like, oh, these kids now way smarter than we was. No. No.
Give me a phone number. Tell me a phone number. They don't know a phone number.
No, stuff, right? So
I taught our kids our phone numbers.
Yeah, they do know our phone numbers.
Do they know yours? I know they know mine.
Yeah, okay. I know Aiden. I'm trying to say our kids' names.
Yeah.
The middle boy.
Yeah. He knows.
He knows.
Yeah, I taught both of them my phone number.
Yeah, but
in fact, he called me the other day from someone else's number, and I'm like, who is this?
Yeah, so he definitely knows it. I don't know about our daughter, but I definitely know. Oh, there you go.
As many times she makes Alexa call me.
Alexa. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Seriously?
Call me at the floor.
I can't walk out the door without her calling.
Alexa, Mom, bring back milk. So So my thought is now around that is that I have somewhat softened my position.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess if we were to give, I almost feel like there's a church sermon. People are like, well, if I was to give this a title, if we would say, okay, should you put your kids out when they become adults? And I say adult versus being grown. There's a difference between being an adult and being grown. You're grown when you can take care of yourself. Yeah. You're an adult when you are 18 and they can put you in jail for doing anything.
Right.
So that's the difference. So my thing is that as far as my position changing, is that okay, as long as you are continuing to move forward.
Yeah, and progressing.
And progress. I'm now gotten to the point where I'm okay. Now, keeping in mind, there are still rules. This kind of goes back to the video that we did, around Kurt Franklin and talking about dealing with adult kids and stuff. There are still rules that you have to follow under my roof. And if you feel like you can't follow those rules, that's fine. Do I need to relax those rules somewhat once you become an adult? Yeah.
Well, you can't come in my house all the time.
Yeah, you can't come in, all crazy.
That's going to wake me up and interrupt my sleep.
Yeah, that's a certain level of respect that has to be. But, as long as you are, hey, I'm going to continue to stay here because I'm saving up money because I want to buy a home. Or I'm going to school and, it's better for me to stay here versus staying in a dorm or whatever. Things like that. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But just as far as if you think you're going to just chill here on the couch.
That, or if you have children of your own, you probably need your own household. If you probably can't bring kids to my house.
Well, that's first of all,
I know you're thinking our daughter could. No.
I got concerned first of all because my mom's about 18. So if you're 18 and you got children, that's a whole different situation.
Right.
But
well, I'm thinking older kids who stay with their parents.
Okay, you mean as far as coming? All right, well, let's talk about that. I guess it's two parts. It's like, okay, when you become into adulthood, you graduated high school, and then it's that next phase.
Yeah.
But then sometimes there's a need to come back to the nest. Right. You're talking about your situation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I didn't bring any kids. I think if a child, I say a child, but if an adult child bring back a family, I can see saying, hey, I'll pay your rent for 3 months, but you cannot come back here with a whole family. Mm-hmm. And then we might relax on that too. I don't know.
Yeah,
I hope not.
Yeah, over time, your position does change. Like I said, it's changed here. I know I had a situation where right before me and you, bought our house and got married, where someone had broken into my apartment, and I was like, well, I ain't staying there no more. Right. So I ended up staying with my parents for a little while until we got that. And actually, there was another time after I came back from the military, I stayed with my parents for a little while until I got my apartment.
Yeah, but I think we were always of the mindset of this is temporary. I think a lot of times adult children come back and they don't have a plan in place to move on.
Yeah, that's true. You got to have that plan. So I think if we were to summarize this, I think first of all, don't be so quick to usher your kids out the door.
Because they need you more than ever when they're 18, 17, so on and so forth.
Yeah, just like our oldest boy, I told him, I was like, the world is a tough place for a 19-year-old to navigate on their own. I told him, you want to keep listening, so don't cross that line. So, and just being truthful for that, he has never been one to be disrespectful and things. So I'm always thankful for that. So let us not, as parents, be so quick to usher our kids out the door.
Yeah.
Let them know, continue to support them, because it's a possibility that if you push them out the door, they're not going to be ready. Now, our goal as parents is to get them ready for when that time comes. But, we should not, when they get, through high school, hopefully we have instilled in them, the values and the skills that they need to, like, okay, well, at this point, I'll maybe get a full-time job. And I'll save my money and, have a plan that in 1 year I'll have enough for a down payment on a place or do whatever I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But, I just think, we need to just be more understanding when it comes to, hey, get out the house.
Right.
And that should not be the primary focus.
Well, and I'm glad that even though your position has changed, we have talked about that. And this is what this is about, is for individuals to have a conversation about it. Because our sentiments do change, and we do see how other people tend to their children and other cultures handle things. So we're like, hey, maybe our idea wasn't the right one. Mm-hmm. And you thinking, when we were both 17 and got out of our parents' house, that was over.
For you, that was about 10 years ago. For me, that was much longer.
Okay,
yeah. So what was it,
So it's like a century.
Late 2010s?
A quarter of a century.
Late 2010s for you?
Yeah.
So, I got it. So that is just kind of what we want to discuss with you all in this video. If you haven't had that conversation with your spouse, have that conversation with them. With your spouse or with your co-parent, and if you have, certain positions about it, maybe it has changed, maybe it has relaxed, but just make sure that, when that time comes, that you're ready to make that decision and that you all are unified in the guidance that you're going to give your child. So that's extremely important. So that's what we have. If you have not liked, shared, or subscribed, why? I don't know, but do it. Other than that, as always, this is Nik and Adinah.
Ooh, I got a new name.
I haven't done Adinah in a while.
I'm your girlfriend now.
Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna rewind it just a little bit. We don't edit, so I'll let y'all know. These are one-hitter quitters. Yeah. So here you go. So I want to say this one more time. This is Nik and Adinah Johnson. As always, we remind you to take care of yourself, keep loving one another.